I'm applying some of the oils that I selected this morning. And the first one that came out was clarity. And that seemed so appropriate as I was selecting oils to talk about this morning out of my big, beautiful container of oils, my carved Balinese carving. I first selected clarity, and that's what we're doing. We are attempting to gain clarity in our answers, clarity in our intuition, clarity in our messages. So I'm going to apply that first. And what oil did you select this morning first to apply? And then we'll play the bowl, and I have lots and lots to talk about today. So I've been kind of running a little bit longer the last few weeks, so I will attempt to be more brief today. So use whatever oil you chose to apply first this morning or this evening, and just breathe in these frequencies. I would like to start this morning. I'm getting a little emotional already because I just want to express my gratitude, Stephen's gratitude, the entire Fuller Life team, for the amazing response that we have had to the launch of our ebook. We still have, of course, the hard copies, but the launch of the ebook of my autobiography. We realize that shipping is expensive, but more than that, that this is the age of the internet. This is the age of doing things electronically and saving the paper. So we are going to we already have another book that is coming out as an ebook in December, and we're working on others. So there's more ahead. At any rate, I just wanted to make absolutely certain that I expressed my gratitude because the response was just almost overwhelming, and we truly appreciate your interest and your choosing to support us. So, what oils did you choose to use today when you read about talking about our questions? Well, Stephen loves to talk about questions and words and things, and that's what this is basically about, because the way we ask our questions has a lot to do with the accuracy or the clarity that we receive when we are asking questions and listening with our heart, not with our brains, but with our heart. And I just knocked my phone on the floor. My other phone, which is my timer. So at any rate, I thought the first thing that we should talk about is that since we're talking about questions and asking questions, the fact that our answers are only as good as the questions that we ask. And Stephen, as I said, loves words. Those of you who have been following us for a long time understand that that's a big deal thing to him. So he loves to split that word up, because questions are a quest for ions. Okay? Now, what are ions? Ions are frequencies. Ions are light. So actually, questions, as we are bringing in those questions, searching for those ions. We are searching for enlightenment. Would you agree? So, how do we do this? What is the most important thing we can do? Well, the first most important thing that we can do is to ground. However you choose to ground, whatever your strongest, best, favorite, whatever way, the way that you have the most confidence. Those who follow me know that creating that sacred space is highly important. That is the basis of everything about rainbow healing. Learning to create that sacred space. Let me see, I've got books over here. That sacred space where we are pushing out all of the chaos of the outer world, connecting with the source, grounding to earth, putting up filters, boundaries, filters, whatever you choose to call them, and just having that harmony and balance inside. If we are not in harmony within, there is no way that we're going to receive correct the appropriate answers. So, first thing we're going to do now, what do you choose to ground? What oils did you choose? Well, we have a whole array of oils. Some of you may choose to use Valor blend. Valor is always, was one of Gary Young's favorite blends for grounding. This morning as I was pulling my oils out of my carved box, I first chose grounding is after clarity. Clarity was number one. The next one that I pulled out was grounding. Grounding is a wonderful one. Who knows what my favorite oil for grounding always, always, always is, and I keep it beside my bed. We diffuse it in the house. It's everywhere around me, and that is Sacred Mountain. So whatever you are choosing, and by the way, the next oil that I pulled out of my carved box of oils was Copaiba, a large tree. Copaiba is just a beautiful, large tree with strong roots. And that's what we're intending to do, make our roots strong so that we are not floating around allowing other energies into our field. Then we are ready to actually begin getting some clear questions and answers. So I've already mentioned that the wording is extremely important. And the best way that we can improve upon the wording of our questions is to write the questions down. Now, we're going to do this different ways, no matter how you're using, whether you're using the fingers, the muscle strength, whether you're using a pendulum, whatever you are choosing to use for getting your answers, the first thing is to get your questions, your questions accurate, clear, clarity. The clearer your questions are, the better. Now, many of us tend to have put a lot of pronouns in the things when we're talking or when we are even writing. We will put a lot of pronouns, and that can be very confusing in itself. I'm one who truly has a difficult time with pronouns, and I will stop someone. It is not Stephen's favorite thing for me to do to him, because when he's talking, he likes to complete his thought rather than be interrupted, which is how he interprets my question. And however, when we're talking with ourselves, we can interrupt ourselves without any issues. Would you agree? So the first thing we are going to do is to write our questions down. Well, the first thing we're going to ground. Then we're going to write our questions, and we're going to pay attention and simplify the wording. It is much easier to get accurate answers by having a series of simple questions rather than a more complex and involved one. The simple, just think to yourself, simple, simple, simple. So, and to continue retesting. Now, as I said, the words are important, and this is something that we all can improve upon at all times. Now, I like, as I said, to write my series of questions down first before I start thinking about what the answers might be. And then I reground, because we can always use more time to reground. Reground whether we're using our pairing of the ways, which Stephen loves to use, and making sure that we have cleared out our energy field, or whether you're using the Rainbow Qigong practice that is in the app and on our website. Whatever you're doing to make sure, once again, that you're clear. And the first question that I always ask, and I ask this repeatedly, am I clear? Yes or no? Well, actually, that's not the first question. The first question I ask is really, show me my yes, and then show me my no, because it may change from one time to another. Generally speaking, if you're using the kinesiology of muscle strength, and we talked about that as doing the thumb and the middle finger, the tips of the fingers together on both hands, and then interlocking them. If it is strong, that is usually a yes. If you say, show me my yes, and it is weak, it may be that you require an additional grounding. Using the oils, paying attention, breathing. Breathing is going to be highly, highly important to remaining grounded. And at this time of the year, most of us, when things seem to be getting more and more active, have you noticed how the days are flying by over and over again? It's like Sundays come around so fast when I think, oh my gosh, it's time for Facebook Live again. It's just really important for us to pay even more attention than ever before to staying grounded. So, take a deep breath. Don't forget to keep breathing throughout this. The quickest way to become ungrounded is to stop breathing, because we hold our breath when we are in fear or anxious about anything. What is one of the first things that we do? We hold our breath, we stiffen. That absolutely cuts off all of our energetic flow. It really impedes the progress of our flow. So, don't forget to breathe and show me my yes. And my yes is very, very strong. Just a quick pull, and show me my no. And that should not be, I should not be able to hold it together. Am I grounded? That's my next question. First question, show me my yes, show me my no. Am I grounded? And right now I'm grounded, thankfully, yes. I'm so happy. Then ask that same question in another way. Is there any, this is the way I ask the question, is there any reason to doubt that answer? No. So the answer is yes. That is my yes. So then I would go on to looking at that first question. As I said, I write a series of questions in simple, simple, simple sentences. You can do this about anything, absolutely anything. Stephen and I test everything. In fact, that's one of his favorite things. So I've learned over the years that if I say, I tested this, he doesn't question me anymore. If I say, I would like something, oh, he will look at me like, really? Or worse yet, oh, how often do we use the word want? I want something. Well, want is a really, really big word. It's only got 4 letters, but it's a big word because it implies lack. It implies that you do not have it yet. Another 4-letter word is need. And then we have a 3-letter word, try. Gary Young used to also talk about the word try, and he says, don't try, don't even think about trying anything. You either do it, you commit to do it, or you don't. So leave those words out of your questions. And as I said, you can write down several questions, a number of questions if you like. They can be kind of sequential according to what you anticipate the answer may or may not be, or they can be on different subjects. However, go back and look at them. Look at those words that are in there. Is that really a clear question? Now, why do I keep talking about writing the questions? If we put the questions up here in our brain, the brain is going on all cylinders all the time, on all circuitry. And it's just going and going, and we are actually changing most of the time. We end up changing the question around, even while we are attempting to answer it, to ask it to ourselves. It's I call it squiggly. Squiggly because it's just not clear. If we write it down and really look at the words that we are using without pronouns, making a simple sentence, not a complex or a compound sentence, just a bunch of simple sentences, you may get much, much, much better answers. And every 2 to 3 questions, I ask myself again, am I blocked? Am I clear? Those are the same thing. I mean, obviously the opposite, they're actually opposite, but it's important to keep checking to make sure, am I grounded? Am I clear? Am I blocked? Because as we move along, and some of the questions may cause us to tense up and create blocks in what we're hearing. If I hear a question, the answer is not what I'm expecting it to be, I immediately will ask, am I blocked? Is there any reason to doubt this answer? Anyway, you can learn all these little wordings that can be helpful for you. And then the next thing is to make sure that you put the questions in the present time. We're not dealing with the future. We're dealing with this present moment. And I think present time was one that I pulled out this morning as well, because when we're in the present moment, we will get our best answers. And it's important, if you're asking a question like, I use the word, is it appropriate? I love the word appropriate. I do not like the word to use good. Is it a good choice for me to do, is it good for me to do something? It could be good, it could not. Is it an appropriate choice? That's a whole different energy around it. And more important, not more important, but just as important, equally important, is to then put now. we're not testing for the future. As I said, we're testing for this moment. Is it appropriate for this moment? We often just are thinking, we're already thinking way, way ahead instead of where we are right now. And I will give you an example. When I bought the land in 2005 for my home here in Bali, it was a crazy thought. I was not looking to buy land, and I definitely was not looking to buy land in the area where my home has been for the last 16 years. However, I stood in front of this land that I didn't even really like the way it looked, and I muscle tested. Can you believe I would make life decisions like this by muscle testing? But I stood there for a long time asking things every way I possibly could. It was like, is it appropriate for me to buy land? Not even this land. And I got a yes. Any reason not to buy land in Bali? No. Am I clear? I would go through the whole, am I clear? Am I grounded? All of this again. I then made it a little bit clearer. Is it appropriate for me to buy this land? Yes, it's appropriate. Any reason to think that that is not correct? No. Show me my yes. Go back and check, because I truly was not expecting that answer. So then I thought, I haven't tested it well enough. Let's add another thing on here, another restriction. Is it appropriate for me to buy this land now? Okay. I still got a yes. I decided to sleep on it overnight, came back again, got all the same answers, and I bought the land, and I am very, very grateful. Same thing you could do with something like anything. A pencil, a pen. Is it appropriate for me to buy this pen? I did the same thing with a car. For those of you who may be thinking, oh, should I get a car? Well, don't forget, it may be for me, probably now, is it appropriate for me to get a car? Absolutely not right now. However, at one point, I got answer, yes, it's appropriate to get a car, but it was not appropriate now, at that moment. In other words, it really is important to make our questions totally, totally, totally clear. Clarity, clarity, clarity will give you the answers that you truly require. This morning as I use these when I do my cards every day. And of course, I love to have you can do it on the app. But I've got the true law. And when I see true law, the word that jumps out at me is overcoming patterns of manipulation, which that is the concept of this particular hologram. However, upon delving in, because I thought, well, yes, that is correct with this asking questions, that we are not attempting, that we take ourselves out. Our desires have to be out of those questions and just have them simple, simple questions with yeses and nos. And to not attempt to manipulate the answers. If you're attempting to manipulate the answers, you're not going to get accurate answers that may be in your true highest good. So, however, I also opened my journey book to True Law and read all of the little aspects. And you can do this, they're on the app too, but I love my books because I have them and I like to put them all around me. I'm attempting to learn to do everything more electronically to save the trees. However, reading down all the little things that the little different aspects. Requirement for a guru outside of self. Guess what? That is exactly what we're talking about. It is not necessary. We don't require asking others what's best for us, because we, in our hearts, as long as we get out of here and push all that chaos outside, all those distractions, get into our heart and listen to our messages with the source, with the Creator, we will get the answers that are perfect for us. No one on this planet knows what is perfect for you except you and the source. So trust your answers. It can be as easy. I test what clothes to wear. Today I thought I was going to wear something totally different. And this morning it was like, no, go to the closet and test. That little thought came to me. So I went to my cupboard and opened it and tested for all the dresses, the tops. And it was this one. It came out over and over. And I thought, well, I just wore an animal. It wasn't the same one, but I just wore one a couple of weeks ago. So, see, I lined them back up in the closet, so I know. But it was like, this is the right one. So, and when I put it on, the minute I put it on, after testing, muscle testing, it felt right. And I felt really good and cozy and happy and grounded. Perhaps I needed the animals, the strength of the leopard, of the big cats, to ground me today. So have fun. Choose different things to practice on, not life questions. I mentioned life things first, but what clothes to wear, whether it's appropriate, and that again is one of my favorite words to use in testing. Is it appropriate for me to do this? Is it appropriate for me to not to do this? Is there any reason to doubt my answers? Just remember to keep thinking of these things, retesting, and have fun while you're doing it. That was another blend that I pulled out of my box today. So have fun. It's not stressful unless we make it stressful. So have a beautiful, beautiful week of great insights and learning all sorts of happy things about yourself, of increasing your strength, your ability to trust your intuition. I'll see you next week.